yeah.
I don't know why we haven't heard about these people before and we never hear about them again, but they were friends.
Well,
at least they went somewhere fun together. You can't tell from the background where they are. They're in a generic background location, but obviously they're like having a good time being like college friends together, and it makes me so sad.
Yeah.
And then we see someone with Zach's face. We assume it's not Zach since Zach's in prison, watching a couple exchange goodbyes, and then there's weird creepy eyes. I don't really know how to describe the eyes. They're a little bit like reptilian, a little bit like light colored. I don't know.
They're kind of cool, actually.
They're scary. They're cool, but
cool in an undesirable kind of way, especially when you're creepily watching a couple.
Yes. Sam and Dean are watching the security tape. Sam tries to get Becky to go make them sandwiches so he can show Dean that there's like a weird eye glow on the camera, and maybe that's why the dog was freaking out, but Becky is like, this isn't a Hooters.
She's got a point.
Gene says he wishes it was a Hooters. I don't know if that means that he wants to see different girls with big boobs or if he thinks that Becky's hot. It's hard to tell with Dean.
Or maybe they were going to a special Hooters in Bisbee, Arizona.
Maybe maybe there was a Hooters in Bisbee, Arizona that was different from the Hooters in every other city. But the guy from before, the couple that was being watched, comes home unexpectedly early, and his lady friend Lindsay is tied up really bloody and is begging him not to hurt her anymore, and yep, then there's two of them. And one's got the glowy eyes.
And the way she's tied up is kind of reminiscent of the way the woman was tied up at the beginning of the episode.
But it's a different woman, so we know there's gonna be one more, at least.
Yeah, so we know what we're starting to figure out what might have been going on.
Yeah. Also, Lindsay was played by Anita Brown, who was in a later episode of Supernatural as a different character.
Oh, cool. I never noticed.
Me neither. Apparently she's in the episode with the wishing well.
Interesting.
But yeah, when we get there, I guess we'll see if we remember that or not. If we remember that detail. Sam has decided to pursue a lead at 5:30 a.m. Probably because he's still not sleeping. They don't mention that Sam's having nightmares, but Dean is clearly not happy to be awake.
Yeah.
And Sam is wide awake and ready to go, so I guess we can assume the nightmares are still a thing and Sam's still not sleeping. They see an ambulance and a crowd going by. It's Lindsay and Alex from the last scene, and Dean is now fully on board that this is something supernatural because he finds out that Alex came home early and found his girlfriend, like, beat up.
We knew they'd come around.
Yeah, and then, like, said that he saw himself, like, and then himself hit him in the head.
You could make a metaphor out of this.
So we go where the evidence, or in this case lack of evidence, leads us, which is to the sewers. And this is where the episode gets disgusting.
Yay!
The shapeshifter sheds its skin and it is super gross and goopy.
Yeah, what is this? The X-Files? What's all the goo?
I think, not at this point in the episode, I think at a later point in the episode, Dean uses the word puke-inducing. And
which is accurate.
Yeah. It's a good thing that Sam and Dean listened in John Winchester's monster killing school, and that silver bullets to the heart will kill any kind of shapeshifter. That's a good thing to know.
Yay! Oh yeah, we figured out it's a shapeshifter.
Yes. They've just been like, that sounds right.
We're gonna go with that.
Like, the goopy Hyla skin seems like shapeshiftery.
I think it's really cool that this particular shapeshifter sheds its skin, because, like, it's just so, like, grotesquely corporeal compared to, like, all the things we've hunted up to this point.
Yeah.
It's a very, very stark difference, and it's really cool. It's gross, but, like...
It's gross.
It's like, this creature is very firmly grounded in the physical world. It needs to eat and sleep and find escape routes, and then it leaves a physical trail of goo for us to follow.
That's what Rebecca calls us. She is rightfully upset because Zach's lawyer found out that there is no Detective Dean Winchester. Again, this is a moment, an automatic watch list moment where they should be on a watch list.
But they're not.
Just for pretending to be a cop, not for, like, the stuff that goes on later in this episode. And they totally contaminated a sealed crime scene. She is super mad at Sam, which, you know, she should be, and Sam does not want to be lectured by Dean about it. Dean's put out by the fact that Becca's mad at them, but is still excited to shoot something.
Well, he's Dean.
Like, real stoked to do it. He's talking about the perks of the job. Like, he's like, really upselling how good it's gonna feel to shoot this thing.
He is laying it on pretty thick.
So they go back to the sewer, and then the thing, like, is behind them at the last minute, and it knocks Dean over and injured his shoulder. And then they jump out of the sewer in a park where a dude is walking by when the two boys come out of the sewer. Doesn't even, like, look over. He's walking straight. That was probably a director's note, like, don't look, just keep walking. talking, but oh my god, two men just jumped out of a sewer in a park and you don't even look.
I want that guy's backstory. What have you seen?
Doesn't even like glance over his shoulder at them.
Maybe this just happens a lot to him.
Maybe. They then do the world's dumbest thing and split up. For one thing, Sam's walking around in a crowd after being in a sewer. There's no way he doesn't smell disgusting. No one's looking at him. No one cares.
He probably smells like sewer and like shapeshifter goop.
Yeah, which can't smell good.
I don't even know how that smells, but like, yeah, exactly.
Probably like rotting bodies. If I had to guess, if I had to take a guess.
That would do it. Yep. And the goop is so much more gross when you put hair in it. Okay, okay. Yeah. You know, never mind.
Yeah, stop. And two, the monster can look like literally anybody. Don't take your eyes off of each other.
The other way, the monster needs a minute to shapeshift, so you've got that in your favor.
Yeah.
Because, like, peeling off your skin is a bit of a process.
If you split up, then you give it that minute.
Guys.
Because they meet back up and it's not the real Dean. Sam gets a feeling. I'm honestly impressed by Sam in this moment. He gets a feeling. And he quizzes Dean about a case that their dad worked. And I honestly am like, I don't really care that much about this case that we're on right now in comparison to this case that you're describing to me.
Which case was it?
It was a case their dad worked in Austin where they thought it was a shapeshifter, ended up being the psychic projection of a thought form.
I want to watch that episode.
Yeah. That's the monster I want to see, as long as I don't have to see John, though.
Yeah, fair enough.
If I have to see John, then, you know, yeah, I'm less interested. But, like, that sounds so much more interesting than literally anything ever.
I want more psychics on this show. Psychics that have thought form.
Dean passes this test, and so Sam, like, throws the keys, but Dean catches them with his left hand, which is important. He opens the trunk and is like, oh shit, these dudes are hunters. They have a full trunk arsenal. Only then Sam's, like, back, and he's pissed, and he has a gun on Dean, because Dean caught the keys with his, I think it was his left arm. I said left really confidently before, and now I'm like, I don't actually know that it was the left. But anyway, it was the arm that he just injured like 2 minutes ago.
Exactly.
But Sam hesitates for like 1 second too long and gets knocked out. But not too badly knocked out compared to whatever the fuck happened to Dean when they split up.
Yeah.
Because Dean was out. Sam wakes up and the shapeshifter is like learning about Dean the more that he is Dean. And he's like, oof, these kids are real fucked up.
Yeah. And where do we wake up again? Like
in the sewers, I think.
In a lair. We wake
in a
up
lair
in
the sewers. It's not good. But he's like really getting into character and he's way more talkative than the real Dean. He is just like laying out all the abandonment issues and resentment on the table.
I think he shapeshifted into a psychiatrist at some point.
Probably. Actually, no, this guy definitely was never a counselor because he's got issues. He's got severe issues. A counselor would have helped him a bit.
Tying people up and torturing them is an issue, yeah.
But like the way that this guy like talks about himself and about other people is bad, even for like a monster.
Can we just appreciate Jensen's acting here?
Yeah.
He's very convincing.
I like when the boys play like dark versions, like monster versions of themselves, or like things that look like themselves. Love it, honestly.
Yes. You get to see a bit of their range.
It does help with the range quite a lot. Anyway, shapeshifter Dean goes to Becky's, and that's the last thing that Becky needed this week. She's already had a tough week. And then we find out that Dean was with Sam the whole time. He was just like knocked out. The shapeshifter was really implying that something really bad had happened to Dean, but he was just knocked out harder than Sam was, and he was still out. Shapeshifter Dean has decided to be weirdly honest with Becky for unknown reasons. It tells Becky all about like supernatural things and shapeshifters and all that for, I don't know, I guess to like be in the Dean character, but like it makes no sense for the shapeshifter to be this honest with Becky.
Maybe it just likes playing with its food.
We don't even know that these people get eaten.
That was being metaphorical.
Anyway, it tells Becky that shapeshifters were born different and like he was like an outcast until he learned to be someone else, and he's like picking like likable dudes to turn into, I guess.
And then turning them into not likable dudes. So.
Yeah, into murderers. It's fine.
It's cool.
Sam and Dean are bust out in like 2 seconds flat. Dean makes a Star Trek reference on his own accord. I see you, pretending not to be a nerd.
Yeah.
Even I don't like Star Trek.
I like Star Trek.
Don't come for me, Star Trek fans. It's just not my thing.
That's fair. It's a good show, though.
It's not that I don't like it. I don't have experience with it. Sam wants to call the police, and Dean's immediately like, dude, it's wearing my face. The police are going to be looking for me.
If they aren't already.
Prepare, just start now for our episode on the Winchester and policing. Episode 10 is coming up.
We're gonna get to this soon, guys. It's way overdue.
But Dean's like, that's my face.
My face, my beautiful face.
Sam's like, Becky's gonna die if we don't, so that's just a risk we're gonna have to take. Sorry, dude. And so then shapeshifter Dean is attempting to hit on Becky, and it does not go very well. So he starts assaulting her. Poor frickin' Becky.
I know, she doesn't deserve this.
No, she doesn't. Like, her brother got, like, falsely accused of a murder, and then she fucked up the crime scene, so he's probably gonna go to prison for life. And then now she's been getting assaulted by someone who looks like Dean Winchester. And then we're back at the start with the SWAT team, and this time the song is Mary by the Death Riders. And again, I like this song. The streaming people did okay this week. The streaming people did not wrong me with, they made choices. I wish that they just didn't have to do this, but you know what? They made choices that were good this week.
Yeah, like, both the SWAT team scenes are just really well done.
Yes, they look super good. It honestly kind of reminds me of season 2, episode 12, Night Shifter, that we're gonna get to in like a season.
Oh, yes, that one was good.
Which has some like SWAT team scenes, and like it's the same vibes. The show does know what it's doing sometimes. It just looks so good on the camera.
All the flashlights.
IMDb told me the fun fact that Jensen Ackles is shirtless in this like monster skin changing scene. Eric Kripke wrote this like shirtlessness in specifically because fans were requesting in quote overwhelming numbers that Jensen wear less clothes.
I remember reading that, and that's just so funny. Like, yes, I will give you what you want, but you won't like the way I do it.
Yeah, this scene quickly goes from, oh, Jensen's not wearing a shirt, who even has all of these muscles, to, oh no, why is this scene lasting forever?
To, oh no, Jensen's not wearing his skin.
It gets really gross.
Yeah.
It gets really gross. I am really not into nails or teeth falling out, and I hate all of this. Those two things specifically upset me.
Yeah, I have a thing with faces and hands, so I looked away for a lot of this scene.
Yeah, it's really gross, honestly. If you're not watching this, I mean, you can just skip that scene. If you're watching like week to week and you're like, for some reason, listening to this instead of watching, just skip ahead. You don't need this. You don't need to what we've said is enough.
I didn't even request shirtlessness. Why am I being punished?
This is not the context in which I would have requested shirtlessness. Dean is upset that Becky's police sketch isn't even that good, but it's pretty good for a police sketch. It is very clearly...
I just can't get my nose right.
That's a Tangled reference if you don't know. Anyway, it's a pretty good police sketch. It's very obviously Dean Winchester. If you saw that police sketch and then you saw Dean Winchester, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's the guy you're looking for.
Gotta get a wig, Dean, at least.
Jensen has a very symmetrical face.
Damn my cursed physical perfection.
There's videos where people put like the golden ratio like over people's faces, and like Jensen's is pretty close, honestly.
Means you're pretty close to looking like a Greek statue.
Yeah. Dean's only in a t-shirt. I don't know why I had to point this out, but he looks really good.
Messed up the shirtlessness. You can have arms.
The boys just in a t-shirt is honestly more attractive to me than when they have no shirt on at all.
I can relate, yeah.
It's like, because they always have so many layers of clothes on, the t-shirt like feels naked, but like, I don't know, I find that their arms look very attractive in like a t-shirt. I'm really outing myself in this episode.
Feeling very Victorian right now. Is that a wrist?
It's like the mid bicep. It's just, I don't know. But they have no weapons and no car, which upsets Dean almost as much as the fact that Rebecca almost got murdered by someone who looked like him. He's really upset that he took the car.
I mean, it's the car.
This is honestly, considering he's upset that they took the car, like, this is a toned down reaction, to be fair, for Dean. We see later scenes where the car is not in their possession and Dean is, like, upset.
Yeah, I would actually expect more of a reaction for the car than for Becky.
This is an underreaction, to be honest, but Dean is upset about the car. The car is parked at the crime scene. I don't know why it didn't get taken when, not real Dean got arrested. I don't know why they left the car there.
I'm kind of glad they did, because imagine if they looked in the car.
I mean, yeah. Also, then they would have had to break the car out of impound, and that just would have been a whole nother thing that we had to do.
Yeah, it would have extended the episode a little longer.
But also, like, you know, that guy murdered a bunch of people. Like, maybe take the car with you when you arrest him.
Yeah.
Anyway, or maybe, I don't know. I guess they didn't actually arrest Dean, like the fake Dean.
Yeah, he got away, didn't he?
He got away. So I guess they probably left the car for exactly the reason that they left the car, like that the Winchesters find the car, which is because they're waiting for someone to come back and get it.
There we go.